You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I am Chase Senior. Give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. The NBA draft is tonight, and with that, NBA trade rumors are popping off. So too are NBA draft rumors. So let's hop into the latest. And we begin today's show with the latest on Ben Simmons. According to Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN, the Sixers are continuing to look for Ben Simmons trade partners, and Philadelphia is looking for a sizable package. How big? A Harden-esque package, which included like 7 first-round picks. I think it's crazy that the Sixers' asking price is that high. But Ben Simmons and his agent, Rich Paul, are in step with trying to make a deal out of Philadelphia happen. Here's what Woj had to say on Twitter in this most recent report. ESPN sources, Sixers continue to canvass the league for Ben Simmons trades. Armed with a steep asking price, Simmons and his agent, Clutch CEO Rich Paul, are in step with a move elsewhere. Draft night is always an ideal vehicle for a deal, but talks could continue into the summer. And of course, if a draft night trade does happen, we'll break it down live on Chat Sports because myself and Harrison Graham are going to be live on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel for both rounds, all 60 picks. So be sure to join us, youtube.com/chatsportstv, subscribe, and turn those notifications on. There are a lot of reports surrounding Ben Simmons. This coming from Sam Amick of The Athletic. Ben Simmons will be on the move. One source close to the situation handicapped Miami, Toronto, and Washington as the most likely landing spots. This coming from Action Network on Ben Simmons. Multiple sources confirmed Sunday that the Toronto Raptors have emerged as a team with, quote, significant interest in Simmons. Multiple sources, including those close to talks, said a proposed framework including Raptors guard Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and the 4th overall pick in Thursday's draft for Simmons was rejected by Toronto. Zach Harper on Simmons. Golden State is among the teams who have looked into bringing Simmons to their franchise. But even before it got to how much they might have to give up, league sources tell The Athletic the Warriors decided he's probably not a fit for what they're building. I'll tell you this, there's no way that the Sixers are going to get back a James Harden-like package for Ben Simmons. His trade value is low. It's not as low as what I think people think it is. This is still a really good player and a first-team all-defensive guy, but he's not James Harden, especially in the modern-day NBA. And for me, for Daryl Morey, this is classic negotiating tactics. You reach out to teams and you set the asking price so high. Nobody's going to meet that high asking price. And then from there, you lower your asking price. And I think the Sixers are going to get back an all-star caliber player, maybe even draft capital for Ben, but they're not going to get multiple future first-round picks and an all-star. So do you think Ben Simmons will get moved on draft night? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Be sure to get those votes in the comment section down below. I'm leaning toward no, but I'm all for yes. We pivot to some Lakers rumors hovering around Buddy Hield. The Lakers have been linked to Buddy Hield, for quite some time. And according to Kevin O'Connor of The Ringer, the Lakers a couple weeks ago were in on Hield, but since then they have upped their offer. And the trade package centers around pick number 22 in the first round, Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope as a salary matcher. Here's what O'Connor had to say in that report. Multiple league sources say Los Angeles has stepped up their efforts by adding the number 22 pick to a deal that include Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, or KCP. Hield to LA now has real traction, which would give the Lakers what they need: shooting. Elite shooting. He continued on by saying this: since Hield entered the league in 2016-17, only him, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Duncan Robinson have averaged higher than 40% from three on more than 7 attempts per game. Last season, the Lakers ranked 21st in three-point percentage and 24th in three-point attempts per game. Now Hield could be a floor-spacing weapon for LeBron James and Anthony Davis. When you watched the Lakers last year, it was clear that they were in desperate need of a consistent knockdown shooter. And that's what Hield is. He's also evolved his game since getting drafted in the first round out of Oklahoma by New Orleans. His numbers this past year from a shooting split standpoint were pretty good. 16.5 points per game. He shot a little less than 41% from the floor, but it's the three-point percentage that you have to hone in on because he's chucking up more than 10 attempts per game at this point in his career, and he really is an elite, consistent knockdown shooter who can spread the floor, take some pressure off of LeBron James, but because he's able to space the floor, kind of opens up space for Anthony Davis around the perimeter as well as down low in the trenches. Here's this as well. Prior to Rob Pelinka becoming the Lakers GM, Buddy Hield had hired Pelinka as his agent, so there are some ties there. And these Hield to LA rumors have been circulating for a couple of years now. And we know that LeBron James, he's about to turn 37 years old in December. There's pressure for the Lakers to win right now and to bring in some complementary pieces that both help him as well as AD and make this roster a more seamless fit and one that makes more sense. Here's that reported trade from O'Connor, and we'll break it down here. Lakers would simply get Buddy Hield. The Kings get the 22nd overall pick, which I think you can get a pretty good player there. Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and or Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Who do you think wins this deal if it comes to fruition? Get into the comment section, sound off, and let us know. Type LAL for the Lakers, type SAC for the Kings. Be sure to get those votes in. I'll tell you what, cannot wait to go live for the NBA draft. We're going to be live both rounds, all 60 picks, and because everybody's so excited for it, we bumped up the start time from 7 o'clock Eastern to 6:30 Eastern. We're going to be talking hoops, talking draft prospects all throughout the night, so be sure to subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Let's quickly hit the latest on Damian Lillard. According to True Hoop, Lillard is willing to forgo paychecks if the Blazers don't oblige his trade request. I think that's just insane. Dame, according to that same report, will try to influence where he goes, and if a Dame trade does happen, this would be a league-altering deal because Damian Lillard is one of the best bucket getters in the history of the NBA. Dame did respond to that True Hoop report by saying, quote, "It's getting out of hand," and it's important to note that True Hoop back a couple weeks ago had said that in the, quote, days to come, Dame was going to request a trade. That request has not come. And Lillard, as well as his teammate CJ McCollum, kind of made fun of that report. CJ McCollum added Dame on Twitter and said, yo, now they're saying that you're going to give up bread to try to force a trade. I'm not buying stock into these reports because they simply haven't come to fruition and they are not true as of yet. Will Dame get moved? Predict it for us and let us know. Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I'm leaning no now. I think Dame might start the season with the Blazers, and if things don't really work out well to start the year, then I could see Dame being on the move. All right, some NBA draft buzz that we're going to hit before we get out of here. Let's first start with Cade Cunningham. Signed an endorsement deal with Nike. It's going to be a very lucrative deal. Good for him as he secures the bag, on top of the bag that he's going to secure whichever team he gets drafted to. And according to some reports, it's not clear what Detroit is going to do atop the draft with that number 1 overall selection. But Cade, in classic maneuvering tactics, did say he'd love to play in Detroit. I love Detroit, he said. I've already been listening to Detroit music way before the lottery. It's a city that has a lot going on, and getting the sports team rolling will be huge for the city. According to Woj, not sure what the Pistons are going to do with that number 1 pick. Detroit's internal meetings are still revolving around 3 players for the number 1 pick on Thursday night: Cade Cunningham, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley, sources tell ESPN. Detroit isn't fully there yet on committing to Cunningham with the first overall choice. That report, the most recent one from Woj earlier this week. As for Jalen Green, could he upset all of the odds makers because Cade is the running away favorite to go number 1, and could he be the number 1 selection? He said to GQ in a really good story, quote, "I want to live in Detroit." So him and Cade going back and forth, trying to leverage their way to the Detroit Pistons with those bragging rights that come with being the number 1 overall selection. Again, according to Woj, Pistons haven't made a decision, but I'll tell you this. I don't think it'd be a horrible pick if the Pistons go with Green because he's an explosive scoring threat who has the confidence of a killer. Sports Illustrated on Green, if maybe he goes number 2 to the Houston Rockets. Sources say Jalen Green has built a friendship with Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. dating back to their time in the G League bubble, which should inspire at least some level of confidence that their similar styles of play can coexist. And I think those styles of play can coexist. When I look at Jalen Green, reminds me a lot of Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. He is going to be a go-to scoring option who on some nights is going to light the world on fire. On other nights, going to be inconsistent. But as a teenager playing against pros at the G League level, he was able to average like 18, 19 points per game. I definitely take stock in that. So who should go number 1? Let us know before we get out of here. Type C for Cade Cunningham. Type G for Jalen Green. Get those votes in down below.